Okay, so this one is going to do domain and range, and the nice thing about Active Inspire is that there is a tool called a reveal tool. So if you are using Active Inspire, you can click on Tools, and you can click on the revealer. So it's going to put basically a whole black screen over top of everything. And then what's nice about it is you can slide it down, you can slide it up, you can slide it left, you can slide it right. So, oopsies. So with domain, you are making sure, make sure you are reading the x-axis, and then for range, make sure you're reading the y-axis. And as we read the x-axis, remember it's going from left to right because it is going from least to greatest. So if I slide over and I'm sliding until I first see my function. So I first see my function, I'm going to actually just use this yellow highlighter, and it's located here on my x-axis, and that value, I know it's a little light, but it is a -4. Because it is a dot, we've talked about this in previous math classes, a dot means it's included, so I'm going to use a bracket, and I'm going to say -4 because that is my lowest x value. And now I'm going to continue sliding my revealer to the right until I get to the very end. And at the very end, because there is no more graph, they've been so kind to tell me the points. Now, I'm going to still highlight on my x-axis because it's very important that you see over here, I do have two x values. Now, automatically, it's not a function simply because I did repeat the same x values. But what's tricky about this question is even though there is an open circle on the top, right underneath it, we have a closed circle. So that closed circle is going to overpower us. If that closed circle was not there, we would use a parentheses. The parentheses would say that it is not included, but because we did go back and we actually did point at an actual point that was closed, boom, that is going to be our close off value for our domain. So that is the domain. I need a longer box, text box. Then after you do your domain, you want to do your range. So your range is going to slide from the bottom to the top. So I'm going to slide my revealer. And I'm going to start sliding it up, sliding my screen up until I first reach my function. So I'm at -10, I got nothing. I'm at -5, I got nothing. I'm actually going to clear these annotations because I would like to use a different color. Because on the y-axis, I need to be reading, the horizontal line. So I'm going to use my blue highlighter. And I'm going to highlight. So here's my value. That's not blue. That's definitely yellow. I'm going to highlight. And I can't really read because it's a little thick, but thankfully, again, they just told us right there it's at 1.5. So I can start writing in my smallest y value, which is in fact how I start my range. So it is a dot. So again, you use a bracket, and it is at -1.5. And I know this because it's clearly written on the screen. Well, not clearly, but it's definitely written on the screen. And I'm going to keep sliding up until I reach the very top of my graph on the y-axis. So here is that very top point. So I'm going to use my highlighter again because I need to make sure I'm reading the value on the y-axis. And if I count those spaces, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 on my y-axis. I can see that right here from the point that they wrote for me, which was very kind of them. They don't always do that, but they did it for this example. So I can now say that my range went from -1 to +4. Now the question is, should we include it or should we not include it? And if you look, that is an open circle. Open circle means not included, so therefore you are going to use a parentheses. And that is your quick example of how to find domain and range.